So here's what we're going to make next, and this is out of the magazine that I've got. I've just picked the nice coloured papers that I want, pages, or you could do it if you wanted with print, but I've chosen to do some coloured pages that were in the magazine. So for this one, what you need to do is, however many layers you want on your flower, I've got 3 on that one, but you can do 2, you can do 4, however many amount you want. So the first thing you need to do is cut enough squares out to make your flower. So you can make them any size, just as long as they're square, that is absolutely fine. Now the first stage is fold it in half to a triangle, and then fold it in half again, like that. So we've got a triangle. Now what I need you to do is, your point needs to be down with your open straight bit at the top, and then you can draw whatever kind of shape you want on your flower. For example, that's one that I've done on top of a box, which is quite spiky, so you could draw spiky leaves that keeps coming open. But this one I absolutely adore, and it's more rounded. This one, what I'd say is draw on a surface that you can see. So the most important thing is, at the bottom you're drawing 2 lines there. That's leaving a point like that, and then you're taking your design up from this point. So for that flower I did kind of a bit of a love heart shape, and if you think, every flower's different, so that's the kind of shape that I drew for that one. But if you're doing a spiky one, just draw a couple of spikes, 3 spikes up maybe. Then you need to cut this out, but cutting the line and cutting the line there, cut out this, I say it looks a bit like a love heart shape. These are for your petals. Back down to that. So what you should end up with is a shape like that with a point on the bottom. Now what I would suggest is use that as a template so that each petal's the same, and again take your next piece of paper and fold it like we did the other one, like that, and then you put that on there, look, draw around it as a template. So I'll go ahead and cut a couple more of these out, and then I'll show you the next stage. So now you've got your, I'm doing a 3-layered one again. I quite like odd numbers. So now you've got these cut out, and at the bottom here where you've got your little point, just take the tip of that triangle off. Just a tip, because when you open it out you'll end up with a little hole in the middle of your flower like that. Now I quite like that dark side of the flower, so pick which you want, print, I've got print or dark, so I'm going to go for the dark. Now I like to shape my petals. You don't have to, we can just leave them flat, but use a pen or a pencil and just roll your pencil or your pen around each petal, and that'll give it some shape. So on each of these, again I'm cutting off the point, opening it out like that, because these are going to layer up to make your flower. Cut off your point, and there we go. So we've got three flowers. Now for the middle, this is like this little fluffy bit. I'll show you how to make that in a moment, because what we need to do is we're going to put a little bit of glue, or I mean glue is probably the best for this, and a top tip for making glue is just 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water mixed up, and boil it up on, well, like simmer it up on your stove, and that'll use as glue, and it can be kept for weeks, months in the fridge in a jar. So put some glue around that, and then this roll that we've made, I'll show you that in a minute, has got to go through that hole without ripping it. and we're kind of stacking this flower up onto this middle. So that's your first one. Now I can see with that it's going to be a little bit too small for it to go through, so if I just trim, but be very careful not to trim it all off, a little bit more off, it'll give me a little bit bigger hole for that middle to go through. It's just made it a little bit more delicate, that's all. But it is important that you put some kind of adhesive on to stick each layer of petals together. You can do this with books, like I'm using a magazine, newspapers, anything that you've got really to hand. So that's your second layer of your flower. Look how it's coming together. And then again, little tiny bit of glue all the way around for your final layer. Like that. Like that, look. So that's your flower. Now to make this middle bit is quite useful because you can use that in a bigger form as a flower on its own, but to make the little middles, what I've done is, again from a magazine, I've cut a strip of paper. Now that's a little bit long, so what I'm going to do is cut that in half. That's a full page length. Cut that in half, and that's 2 inches wide. Now we're folding this in half. So you've got your open end there. Now across, with it folded in half, across the top there, measure, she says trying to find a ruler. I'm not very organised today. I think it's this lockdown there, I found my ruler. So I'm measuring half an inch, that's not very easy to say, half an inch down the top of the open end. So make sure it's the open end. Join that line up. So this is on the wrong side. Now this doesn't matter because it's both got writing on each side, so I'm not particularly bothered which side I use. But if you've got one that's got a nice colour on it, make sure that's on the inside, and you, like when you're doing fabric, that's the wrong side. So you've got your line there, and you should have got your fold across the bottom. Now fold it in half again with the line showing, so you can see your line there, and then all you're doing is, all the way along the folded edge, is snipping very, very finely up to that line, like that. Now I'm cheating because I've got these scissors. I've had them years and never really used them, so now's my chance. And don't do that. So much for my fancy scissors. I have now reverted back to normal scissors. So this is what you should have, like a fringed affair. So that's the wrong side. Now what you need to do is turn it out very carefully and meet up with the other side, like that. Yours might be a little bit longer than this. This has been a shortened version. And then just run a little bit of your glue down and stick that together like that. Now comes the magic. So I've got a little bit of glue left on there, so you only need a little tiny bit. Just run it across the bottom, so you should have some like little curly bits at the top. And now what you need to do is start to roll. So we're rolling across the bottom, if you can see. So you're rolling it like that. Keep rolling. This should be about the right size for the flower actually, because you can cut them down. If it's too big for your flower petals to go through, just cut a little bit off the end there, and there we go. Now if you made this bigger, well, you can put a stick on it and make a flower from that, or you can roll it down a stick and make like a iris. So that's just a couple of ideas for flowers out of recycled. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back again soon.